A local former superintendent is facing up to 10 years in prison. We have the details involving her sexual relations with students.
And a man was arrested on Saturday for being connected to a hate crime. What Milwaukee officials are saying about the attack.
And the #1 cause of death in the U.S. is on the rise again. A new study reveals the details. Find out how you can lower your risk later in the broadcast.
This is TV2 News.
A local superintendent pleaded guilty to sex with a minor. That's where we start. Good evening, Kent in all of Portage County. I'm Madison Tromler.
And I'm Kendra Hughley.
Former Windham superintendent is facing 10 years in prison for having sex with students. 35-year-old Laura Amiro was accused of having sexual relations with a 16-year-old in 2017, as well as attempting relations with another student. Amiro pleaded guilty Monday to sexual battery and sexual imposition charges. She was a teacher and principal before becoming superintendent of Windham exempted village schools in February. She has made no comment after pleading guilty. And the city of Ravenna may be soon paying a lot more for their internet and phone system. The city's IT consultant is looking to pay $93,000 for a new system. This is double of what the city is paying now. The current system was put in place 6 years ago and is no longer manufactured, so it can't be repaired. City Council will be reviewing the proposal tonight at 7.
2 men were wounded in a shooting inside a Talmadge Road home on Saturday night. Both men were receiving treatment, but the extent of their injuries are unknown at this time. Portage County officials say they are investigating the incident and predict it was in response to a home invasion. A former inmate in Cuyahoga County Jail sued the county and the jail today. Tyrone Hipps claimed the county cultivated a climate of violence and abuse inside the jail's walls. Hipps accused the officer Christopher Perdue of attacking him while he tried to pray. Cuyahoga County spokeswoman Mary Louise Madigan said the county will review the lawsuit once they've been served. Election day is here, and voters across the country will head to the polls tomorrow to vote on nationwide and local issues.
That's right, and our reporter Maddie Haberberger found out about a group that helps educate voters right here in Portage County. Maddie?
That's right, guys. Election day is finally here, and in recent years there's been a push to try and get people out to the polls. Some people don't vote because they feel like they're not educated enough on issues to have an opinion, but groups like the League of Women Voters are working to change that. Take a look.
We feel like it's the most important thing that we can do as the League of Women Voters in sharing nonpartisan information to make people feel better about the decisions that they make once they get to that ballot box.
November. It brings fall leaves, colder temperatures, and, of course, election season. Anyone over the age of 18 is eligible to vote, but in the 2016 presidential election, only 56% of Americans went to the polls, and that number was up from previous years. Many Americans refrain from voting because they feel uninformed or like they only receive biased information about who to vote for. That's where organizations like the League of Women Voters come in.
We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that really works to advocate for voting rights and empower our community of voters to take their power to the poll.
Volunteers like Jen Kinney, the voter service chair, help organize information for voters so that they know what to expect before Election Day rolls around.
We always publish our voter's guide every election, which is this community's resource for nonpartisan information about the issues on the ballot, as well as comparison points between the candidates that they can find on the ballot as well.
The League posts their annual voter's guide at vote411.org, and the site goes beyond just offering information about candidates.
At this website, you can register to vote, check your registration status, find your polling location, and actually find a personalized ballot so that you can feel prepared and informed before heading to the polls.
The League of Women Voters also collaborates with the Kent State Votes organization here on campus to encourage students to use their voice in upcoming elections.
So I think it's a really great resource for voters who want just that unbiased, nonpartisan information, make sure that they make an informed vote.
Again, you can check out that voter's guide at vote411.org. And if you put in your address, you can take a look at which candidates and issues will appear on your ballot tomorrow and read up about them before casting your votes. For TV2 News, I'm Maddie Haverberger.
All right, good tips there, Maddie. Thank you. Well, LeBron James is continuing to give back to his community. First came the I Promise School, and now he's taking it to the next level, creating the I Promise Village. It's in partnership with Graduate Hotels and will serve as transitional housing for I Promise families that are struggling. It's located just a few blocks from the I Promise School. Renovations are starting now, and the village is expected to be finished in July of 2020.
Cleveland has been selected to participate in a pilot research program aimed to combat hunger. 1 in 6 people living in Cleveland suffer from food insecurity, according to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. The Household Empowerment Pilot Program will help working families who face hunger. The program will provide food, public benefits, and financial security services.
Well, overdose deaths in Portage County have gone up this year. As of October 29th, the county coroner's office reported at least 26 people have died so far in 2019. Fentanyl is involved in about 18 of the 26 deaths. Meth and cocaine are also mixed in with no signs of opiates. However, this number is not as high as it was in 2017 and 2016 when the city saw 46 and 39 deaths. The ages range from 22 to 57. Going my walks to class, just seeing the leaves falling, and
they're beautiful.
Yeah, the weather's been great. I love fall. It's my favorite season.
It has, and it hasn't been too chilly either.
Exactly.
But I have brought out a little thicker jacket though.
Yes,
because
me too. For the first time this week, me too.
Right.
Well, let's toss it over to Chris Grant. He's live. Tell us about how the weather is going to be looking like the rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. I'm out here live in front of the architecture building, certainly wishing I had brought that jacket with me. And if you notice, it is a little darker outside, so that extra hour of sleep we got this week did come at a cost. Let's take a look at the weather outside, though. Currently, it is 52 degrees. We have wind gusts coming at about 12 miles an hour, so that 52 degrees feels a little bit more like 50. As we take a look throughout the rest of Northeast Ohio, we have temperatures varying. We have Canton down at 55. We have Sandusky up at 57, a little warmer up there. And Mansfield is at 55, so definitely a chilly evening here in Northeast Ohio. And it's going to be getting a little colder with temperatures dropping down to about 48. We will have some clouds coming throughout the night as well as a possible shower here and there. So definitely bring an umbrella if you will be going out tonight. And just taking a look at tomorrow, those clouds we'll be getting throughout the night will be sticking around with a cloudy Tuesday. Temperatures will only be going up to about 48, and those wind gusts will be sticking around as well. So you might want to bring a jacket when you're out and about tomorrow. Definitely another chilly one, especially since it is November now. But stick around for my full forecast.
Would you pay $5,000 for a holiday present? Find out what limited edition toy will have people waiting in line to see.
And when we return, House Democrats leading the Trump impeachment inquiry publicly released the first transcripts from their closed-door interviews. What you know coming up.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
On Capitol Hill this afternoon, transcripts released from 3 House committees as the House moves their impeachment inquiry to a more public phase. The 2 transcripts feature the testimony of former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Maria Yovanovitch, who told congressional investigators she was warned to, quote, watch her back by a senior Ukraine official. The official told her that Rudy Giuliani's associates wanted a different ambassador in the post for business dealings. The October 11th testimony is among the first transcripts of the closed-door depositions from individuals at the center of the Ukraine affair.
These witnesses are significant, and the White House understands they're significant. Based on the testimony the committees have already received, we know that these witnesses, those that were in the law office of the National Security Council, those who worked for Mulvaney either in the Chief of Staff's office or the Office of Management and Budget, are first-hand witnesses to allegations of serious misconduct.
5 people were fatally shot and killed at a Halloween party in a Northern California Airbnb rental home. Omar Taylor attended the party to DJ. Instead, he was shot and killed. The sheriff's office says 3 people were pronounced dead on the scene while 2 died at the hospital. Authorities say the shooter is on the run. Airbnb owner Brian Chesky promised to crack down on unauthorized parties.
In the end, 3 subjects were found deceased in the residence. 5 other subjects were transported to local Bay Area hospitals. One of those subjects, one of those victims, I apologize, was pronounced deceased after arriving at the hospital.
Milwaukee police have made an arrest after a man was attacked and burned with acid in what officials say is a hate crime. Villalez was confronted in a restaurant Friday night and had acid thrown in his face after someone claimed he was in the U.S. illegally. Surveillance video shows Villalez stumbling away from the suspect, who police say is white. He was sent to the hospital for treatment and was released. This is an ongoing investigation.
Well, in Naperville, Buffalo Wild Wings fired 2 employees after a racial incident in the restaurant Saturday night. A group of African Americans were asked to move tables because one of their regular customers did not want black people sitting near them. When Justin Vall entered the restaurant, the host asked about his ethnicity to determine where his group would sit. After Vall explained the situation to corporate, they followed with an investigation and fired 2 managers.
Authorities in China have approved a new drug to treat Alzheimer's. The seaweed-based drug called Oliangomante can be used to treat mild or moderate Alzheimer's. The approval of the drug is conditional, but it can go on sale during additional clinical trials. China's Drug Safety Agency says the drug will strictly be monitored and could be withdrawn if safety issues arise. Residents in New Delhi, India, are expected to experience record levels of smog for at least a week. Flights were delayed and diverted from the international airport on Sunday when pilots couldn't see through the smog. Today, the global air quality index remained above 800, the worst level seen in more than 3 years. A public health emergency has been declared in the city, resulting in the closing of schools and businesses. And Sweden's National Bomb Squad has been called out to 30 blasts in the past 2 months and 100 times this year, more than twice the amount of times in 2018. Police arrested 3 people over the weekend following the explosion in an apartment in the southern city of Almam Friday morning. The bomb blew out the building's main door, shattered windows, and substantially damaged the entrance level. The number of explosions have been called unacceptable by the country's government. Lead levels in Canadian water have exceeded the safety limit of 1 out of 12,000 samples taken from 2014 through 2018, 1/3 of exceeded national 1/3 of those exceeded the national safety guideline of 5 parts per billion. Some reported areas show similar lead levels seen in Flint, Michigan. Contamination has been linked to lower the IQ in children, hypertension, and heart disease.
It's the #1 cause of death in Americans, and a new study shows deaths from heart disease are on the rise again. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
After more than a half-century of decline, deaths from heart disease and heart failure are on the rise again. In a new study published in the Cardiology Journal of the American Medical Association, researchers found the number of heart disease-related deaths went up by 8.5% from the start of 2011 to the end of 2017. In that same time period, the number of deaths from heart failure increased by 38%. Heart failure is a common chronic complication of heart disease that occurs when the heart can't pump enough blood. The rise due in part to obesity and diabetes and the rapidly aging population, which is most at risk for heart disease. 80% of those heart disease deaths were among people 65 and older. Researchers say by 2030, the population will have a projected 44% increase in adults over 65, and focus now needs to be on prevention and treatment to slow heart-related death rates. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Back with you guys again, Christian Grant. I'm back here in the warm studio to look at the statewide temperatures. We have Cincinnati at 55, Dayton at 56, and Columbus at 56 as well. So pretty consistent all throughout Ohio. Taking a look at tomorrow, as I said, temperatures will be colder tomorrow, 46 at around 6 a.m. At around noon. The sun will be peeking out, but there will be some clouds covering the sun, so limited sun tomorrow, with the temperature capping out at about 47 at noon. And as we get to this time tomorrow, 6 p.m., temperatures will be dropping rapidly to 41, as well as some cloud coverage throughout tomorrow evening. And just taking a look at the radar, we do have some rain moving through the Midwest that we will be seeing later this week, even tomorrow and tonight. So definitely we'll be seeing a lot of that rain. Most of that has passed us from this past weekend, though. And just taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we do have rain tomorrow, as I said, with temperatures capping out at 48. Temperatures will be dropping slowly as this week progresses. 51 on Wednesday, 39 on Thursday, with the chance for snow and rain. And as we take a look at Friday, temperatures won't be getting much warmer, 37, but we will be seeing some sun on Friday, which will be nice, and warming up for the weekend with 41 on Saturday, 47 on Sunday, and a cold start to next week with 39 degrees. So winter, I think, is coming.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Well, how one of the biggest corporations is helping people involved in the California wildfires. We have the story.
And the Browns' woes continue, but we've got even more football action headed our way because Kent State plays tomorrow night. We'll be back in a flash.
Adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome everyone, I'm Ben Pagani with you for another sports report, and tonight we're all wondering whether or not the Flashes can get back in the win column on the football field. The Flashes travel to Toledo to take on the Rockets, and after propelling to first place in the MAC, the Flashes have lost 2 games in a row. The team are 7-point underdogs and will look to get back in the win column and Toledo, their opponent, however, have not been consistent, losing to Bowling Green, who Kent State blew out by 42 points. And the Browns, they traveled to Denver on Sunday. The team had lost 3 in a row heading into Sunday's matchup, but many were saying this was a must-win for Cleveland, and things did not go as planned. Take a look at Brandon Allen making his first career NFL start last night. He gave the Browns some trouble. Look at this awesome catch by wide receiver Courtland Sutton. That reach is incredible, and the Broncos take the early lead. Second quarter, Allen again bullet past a rookie Noah Fant, who's going to take it downfield to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. I can't even count that low. Touchdown, Denver. Fourth quarter, Browns fighting back. Baker finds Jarvis Landry, who takes it to the end zone to give the Browns some life. Now, we're going to see Baker Mayfield again, trying to find Landry across midfield, broken up, and the Broncos defeat the Browns. And that's not all the embarrassment the team would handle after yesterday. This morning, the team announced on Twitter that they have waived safety Jermaine Whitehead. The team issued a statement last night saying Whitehead's social media posts after the game were unacceptable. In the posts, he challenged fans and media members criticizing his performance. Whitehead used racial slurs and threatened those on Instagram and Twitter. Now he will enter waivers where any of the other 31 teams can claim him. We'll take a look at the AFC North standings after yesterday. Every team has played 8 games. The Ravens beat the Patriots yesterday and are 6-2, and they lead this division. The Steelers able to win after a botched field goal, and they are up 4-4 throughout the season. The Browns, though, dwindling to 2-6, and the Bengals lowly at 0-8 at the bottom of the rankings. Well, the Cavaliers were back home last night taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Cavs are looking to get their 3rd win on the young season and stay undefeated on their home floor. We're going to take a look now. The cross-court pass over to Kristaps Porzingis, who's going to drain a 3 and put the Mavericks up 46-43 in the second quarter. But we advance to the second half, where we are going to see the Mavericks walking away from Tristan Thompson, who's going to be able to get a foul, and he made the and one, taking the lead for the Cavs at 70-69. But it didn't last very long, because we're going to see here just the defense nowhere to be found, and Lewis Brunson is going to have an open lane. And then Luka Doncic, one of the main players in the NBA, is going to have a lob over to Dwight Powell, who slams it home. At the end of the day, the Mavericks beat the Cavs 131-111. Well, 2 Cleveland Indians received good news on Sunday. Shortstop Francisco Lindor and catcher Roberto Perez won Gold Glove awards. This is Lindor's 2nd Golden Glove of his career, while this is the first time Perez has won the award. Both players are now eligible to win the Platinum Glove, which goes to the best defensive player in the league. Lindor won the award in 2016, and the winner this year will be announced this Friday. That's all for sports. I'm Ben Pagani.
All right, thanks, Ben. Well, Apple is donating $2.5 billion to help fight California's housing crisis. The company announced the plan Monday. This will provide housing for low-income adults in the San Jose area. The initiative will also help low-income veterans and disabled homeless individuals. CEO Tim Cook says the company wants to make sure the area stays a vibrant place where people can live, have a family, and contribute to the community. Under Armour is under investigation by the Justice Department and U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. The company is struggling financially, and it's believed they shifted sales to make their company seem healthier. However, the company says they believe its accounting practices have been done appropriately. The Justice Department has not yet provided comment. CEO Kevin Plank stepped down last month and will be replaced in 2020.
We all know Christmas is coming up, but would you spend $5,000 on an item? Some people would, so we'll see. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt. There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So would you spend $5,000 for a doll? Because that's how much it costs for the holiday edition of the American Girl doll. It's covered with Swarovski crystals. Only 3 are available for sale in Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. However, if you don't want to buy her, you can still see her on display and take selfies with her until December 20th.
If you want to skip out on the political stuff later on, you can watch a Netflix new special. Seth Meyers has a new comedy special, Lobby Baby, and it debuts tomorrow on the streaming platform. In the show, he makes jokes about President Trump. But now those who want to skip that part can opt out by clicking a button. Meyers says this is his new response to anyone who would like to say, oh, let me guess, there's going to be jokes about the president. And this musician is sure to turn some heads. A 5-year-old drummer with a high school band, and he's actually good. Austin Kemper has more.
He loved beating on anything he could beat on.
Jeremiah Travis's mom, Nicole Jackson, would have never imagined that tap-tap-tapping that used to drive her mad would have led to this.
Chant, 1, 2, ready, and... He was sitting in the stands and he was just beating on the stands with drumsticks. I'm like, who is this little baby keep beating drumsticks in the stands? Just going against the other band across the field. And I'm like, wow.
That was when he was 2. Now he's a full-on member of the St. Helena High School band.
It's just like he's a normal student. We don't look at him as a baby student. It's like he's one of us. You know, he's just like the rest of my students.
Where'd you learn how to do that, man?
My cousin.
He was like, man, I want to play the drums like you. I was like, all right, let me teach you real quick.
Music isn't the only thing he's good at. He's got the moves to go with it, too.
He got all the dance moves.
Which he says he learns from his cousin.
Because he be watching Alcorn and Southern doing all them dances and stuff. He'd be like, teach me that. Teach him.
And if all of this looks like it's easy for Travis, you'd be exactly right. Do you like being in the band? Why?
Because it's fun.
That's just adorable. He is. And it blows my mind how young people can be so talented. Just look at him.
Yeah,
he has a bright future ahead of him, for sure.
I'm 20 and I can't do half that stuff, so props to him.
Yeah, I've never been good at instruments.
I'll tell you what, I play the bass, I play the drums like him, and our sports director, Mitch Myers, used to be in the marching band here at Kent State.
Oh,
so
did
music
you,
is
Mitch?
very
Wow.
important,
Nice.
and I think
Yes.
if he's going to stick with it, it's good to start at a young age.
Yes. So, the weather. What are we looking like for the rest of the week?
That heartwarming story, hopefully that warmed you enough for these cold temperatures we're going to be seeing. Friday, 37, just not a good weekend, guys.
All right, Chris. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Well, that is our report for this Tuesday evening. Thank you for joining us. You can always find the latest headlines and breaking news on Kent Wired.
And catch up on all things sports tonight at 8, only at Sports Corner. And remember, after you vote tomorrow, tune in for our election show starting at 7:30. I'm Kendra Hughley.
And I'm Madison Fromler. For all of us at TV2's Portage, I'm sorry, have a great night.
Have a good night. It's back.